Hello, Christina's World Kitchen. I'm Christina Martinez-Williams, and we are still in Nice, France. We are here for 2 more nights, tonight, tomorrow night, and we leave the next day at night to Lisbon, Portugal for our final leg of our World School trip. Tell me where you're watching from. Thumbs up, hearts, share this video. This is my Mediterranean inspired, because we're here in the Mediterranean, inspired beef and veggie, basil beef and veggie skillet. So again, do it all in one pot if you have the ability to do so, whether that's like a big soup pot or a big frying pan. I just don't have anything other than these smaller items. So we are going to get these burners turned on, and I have like 4 cups of zucchini cut into tiny chunks. This is like, it just depends. I tried to get them pretty tiny. They were 2 pretty big zucchinis. So it could be like 3 mediums or 1 huge one, but two pretty big zucchinis, and I think it's about 4 cups. I have a tablespoon of butter here and half a tablespoon of butter with my pound of ground beef. And I'm gonna get those started to cook, and then I have 2 more veggies and then the spices, and then it's just a matter of letting everything cook. So tell me where you're watching from. Thumbs up, hearts, share this video. Show that wherever you are in the world, you can eat simple, delicious, flavorful food. And all of these things can be found in most grocery stores. I mean, these are the basics. All of the fruits and vegetables. We went to a fruit and vegetable store that's just fruits and vegetables. All of this was there. But most stores are going to have this. So wherever you are, you can likely make this dish. All right, that's getting started. Let me see if I can mix my zucchini around with this. It's very full, so I want to see if I can maybe get everything's gonna mix once I put it all together. The zucchini, I'm gonna serve it almost as if I'm serving, I might be able to actually mix it with this once everything else is cooked into it, because it'll be cooked down. It's gonna be like a stew-like texture, very much like a stew-like texture. I'm gonna see if I can get this butter down to the bottom. I wanted to show you the butter, but that means that the butter is not on the bottom, not melting on the bottom. I don't know if it's gonna get down here. It just needs to maybe go around. And then I just break it up. Also, tell me if you like basil. Put basil in the comments. That's the main spice in this dish, is basil. All right, that didn't really help. I'm just gonna see if I can slowly move things around. There might be another way, but I don't think so. It's just that there's not much room. All right, so I'm gonna come over here and move my my meat around. I am going to use 3/4 of, I'm not going to use all of my spices just yet, but I want to use a little bit of my salt and pepper for right now on my meat. So I'm going to use a half a teaspoon on my meat. If you have these all in the same pot, you can just add the total amount of salt and pepper. So I'm going to add a half a teaspoon to both this. Oh no, this one's out. Half a teaspoon to both this one and this one. I do have a different type of salt. And then I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of black pepper to my meat. And I'm actually going to use 3/4 of a teaspoon. I need to get some over here. All right, 3/4 of a teaspoon of my black pepper. and I'm gonna use it just in my meat. Again, all of this is gonna end up mixing together. I would do it all together if I had space. I just don't. All right, let me see if I can get this so that it's not gonna burn the bottom. I might need to add, because of my pot situation, I'm just gonna add a little water so that it doesn't burn. And then I'm gonna add to here the rest of my veggies. So I have a small onion, diced really finely, and then I have 4 Roma tomatoes, also diced very finely. So I'm gonna get this all in here. It's gonna fit. It's gonna fit. Tell me where you're watching from. Thumbs up, hearts, share this video. We had a beautiful day in Monaco walking to the Oceanographic Museum, which is like sits on the cliff of the Mediterranean, and it is a really great museum and aquarium. All right, now let me see if I can get this to move. Oh, the water helped me to move it. So you don't need to add water if you're doing it all in one pot or all in one pan. I just couldn't get my zucchinis to move around. And I heard them burning on the bottom. I don't want them to burn. All right, now we're gonna just get this over here. All my tomato and my onion mixed in with my beef, and then we're gonna add our spices, and then it's just a matter of letting it all saute. I want it to be stew-like. Well, the like consistency of the tomatoes to be like they're stewed tomatoes, and I cut them also very small. Okay, there we go. There may probably not be, I was gonna say there might be room, but there's not gonna be room. There's not room for this zucchini. I'm gonna have to serve it over the zucchini, like serve the zucchini in the plates or bowls, and then serve this tomato and onion and beef on top of that. So far we have a 3/4 teaspoon of black pepper. We have a teaspoon so far of pink salt or sea salt. I don't have any pink salt. And then we have, now we're going to add a teaspoon of garlic powder. A teaspoon of garlic powder. Oh no, sorry, I'm sorry. Half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay. And then the last thing is our basil, and we're going to use 1.5 tablespoons of basil. 1.5, this is 1 tablespoon. 1 tablespoon. I love basil. Love basil. There's 1, and then now 1/2 tablespoon. Okay. Now we're just gonna mix all of that and then let everything stew cook. Again, if you're just popping on, this is my Mediterranean inspired basil, garlic basil beef and veggie skillet. It is gonna be, this tomatoes are chopped really finely and the onions so that they can become a little bit more stew-like as they cook. And then basil is the predominant spice in this one. So the zucchini is gonna get also very soft. It's up to you. I'm gonna let it get pretty soft, but if you don't want it to be as soft, you can also not cook it that as long. But I'm gonna let it, I don't have the space to let it stew with the rest of it, but I would be if I had the space. All right, and then it's salt to taste after the, oh no, I needed to add 3/4 more teaspoon of salt. Three-quarters more teaspoon of salt. And mix this in. Like, share, heart this video. You're going to want to try this one. Only 2 more nights in Nice. And I have a special something that I found today to cook with tomorrow. So make sure that we're gonna have plenty for leftovers from both yesterday and today. And so we're gonna have leftovers, but I have something special I found in the grocery store today that I'm going to use to make something tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And I did add a little bit of water because I didn't want my zucchinis to burn. Okay, so you can see that there's already a lot of liquid because of the beef and the tomatoes and the onions, and then this is a lot more liquid, but it'll boil out. And I'm going to let these continue to boil or simmer for the next 10 minutes. And then I'm going to check it, and it might get 10 to 15 minutes, and then it's done. And I'm going to serve this one on top of this one. But if you're doing it all in one pot like I would, then you just will serve it into your bowl. I like to use bowls for things like this versus plates. All right, it's another beautiful day here. It is hotter today. It's like 75 today. So it's definitely warm today. Have a wonderful day, evening. And from my house, well, where we're staying in Nice, France, to your kitchen, global flavors and healthy plates from around the world.